Hi again then guys, and welcome to another special projects replica build, and this time, as with some other replicas, we're going for just a slight update on an existing vehicle rather than a complete overhaul. And this particular update is for the Audi RS6, and in particular the Avant, the estate or wagon version of the RS6, and this particular version that we are replicating is called the RS6 Avant Plus. It's got a little bit more power, and it's just a slight update really overall to the RS6 to take it to a slightly more exclusive level and to just give it a little bit of an extra hike in performance. In a similar way, not the same of course, but in a similar way to the Black Series cars with Mercedes. They've got a lot more extreme in recent years, but back in the day they used to be basically just a slightly increased version of the existing AMG model. This is a similar kind of thing. Now, as far as the visuals, you want to basically leave it stock. That's what I've done. I've painted it blue. As you can see, you can go for any colour you want, but this car was available in a similar kind of blue to this, and the particular blue that I've used, if you do want to use it, is called French blue, and you can get that from the Triumph Spitfire. So, apart from that, there's really no need to go over to the visual tuning garage. So of course let's go over to the mechanical upgrade shop and then out to the track to see what kind of differences it makes to what is already a very capable estate car. Now, as always of course, I do like to round these builds off to the nearest relevant PP, and in the case of this one it's 500 PP, which is pretty reasonable given the performance and power that it has, but this isn't really designed for competition. It's a big, heavy car, and it's designed purely to replicate the vehicle and to be fun, not really for racing. So if you do choose to race it, feel free, just don't expect to win. Now, I've gone for sport soft tyres because it is of course a production tune, a street-based build. And like with the tyres, we want to keep it realistic with the brakes, so I've left those stock. As far as suspension, we've got the ride height on 130 on the front, 140 on the rear. Springs we've rounded off to 1025 and 775. The dampers and anti-roll I've left on 3 with neutral camber and neutral toe. According to the specs that I could find, it shares the same gearbox with the normal car. That may be wrong, but as I said, that's according to the specs I found. As far as the diff, I've got the lowest initial torque, highest acceleration as you can see, and the highest braking, and that's to help with the turn-in. And as far as the prop shaft, clutch and flywheel, just like with the brakes, we've left those stock. And for the centre diff, I've gone for a 40-60 split because I like the car to be quite heavy. If though you do want the car to have a more loose front end and turn in more efficiently, really, you could put that down to say 20-80 even, or even 10-90, but just adjust it to whatever you need. As far as power, we do have an oil change on this one. Then I've gone for the exhaust manifold and reduced power to 99.6%, which gives us the actual horsepower of the real Plus version, which is 480 horsepower. And then as far as weight, you want to give it the stage 1 weight reduction and then a 200 kilo ballast to bring us up to the actual weight of the real car, which is 1835 kilos. So overall, as I said, it's basically just an update tune. In a similar way to my Lancia Delta and Audi Quattro replicas, it's not a major overhaul, it's just a slight update to make it replicate the next stage in the food chain, basically, of that particular model. So that's overall for the build. Now let's obviously take it out to a racetrack to see how it handles itself. As I mentioned, with the current torque split, plus of course the size and weight of the vehicle factored in, the car does have pretty heavy steering. So as I said, if you do find the car too heavy for your personal driving style and you like to get the tail out a bit more, perhaps lose a little bit of grip and throw it through the corners, then of course lower that to say 1090, 2080, etc. Overall though, it's a quick and fun vehicle, and for Audi fans in particular, I think those people will find this tune enjoyable. As I said, it's not really for racing, but feel free to give it a try if you want to. So that's it overall for this particular replica, and if you'd like to keep up with other replica builds and also customs similar to this in the future, be sure to slap subscribe to keep up with those as soon as they're released. But for now, as always, Thanks for watching.